thank you for holding this hearing, and for a big round of thanks to the ranking member as well, Mr. Lipinski, for all of his support, not just for the bill, but for advanced manufacturing and the concept behind this bill for quite some time, sir. So thank you very, very much. Mr. Collins, thank you for your questions, for making the time, and for your support of the legislation as well. And I saw Mr. Reed pop in, and I know he's going to be here back momentarily. To the witnesses, thank you very, very much for your time. Thank you for your testimony. I have, Mr. Chairman, with me a number of letters of support from some outside organizations that I wanted to submit for the record, if I could. So I ask with unanimous consent.
Without objection.
To the record. Thank you very much. And they are from the Motor and Equipment Manufacturers Association, the National Association of Manufacturers, the Information Technology and Innovation Foundation, which includes Alcoa, ANSYS, Applied Materials, Autodesk, DuPont, National Modeling and Simulation Coalition, Owens, Illinois, Rockwell Automation, TechSolve, Cal Berkeley, Cal Irvine, the University of Southern California, One Voice, representing the National Tooling and Machining Association and the Precision Metal Forming Association, Precision Machined Products Association, Dow, and the Semiconductor Equipment Materials International, otherwise known as SEMI. Mr. Davis, thank you very, very much. I wanted to speak briefly. You'll be hearing from me in another couple minutes, so I'll try to keep it brief. A number of comments from, I think, the witnesses and from my colleagues here, I think, took the holistic view of the challenges facing the U.S. manufacturing industry, from regulation, taxes, uncertainty, overall global, or excuse me, economic uncertainty here in the United States and globally, the training issue that has come up time and again, sir, as well as energy costs and the potential innovation surrounding energy costs that could lead to at least a support for bringing some of this manufacturing processes back home. I wholeheartedly agree with all of those observations and critiques. This bill obviously attempts to try to get at a small part of this, but I think a critical part nonetheless. And Mr. Biller, I was hoping to get you to elaborate a little bit, seeing as GE is involved in one of these pilot programs in Youngstown, Ohio, that you already mentioned already, the Ohio National Additive Manufacturing Innovation Institute, focused on additive manufacturing, otherwise known as, or perhaps more colloquially, 3D printing. And I just was hoping that you could discuss a little bit more about how big companies like GE can work effectively with smaller and medium-sized enterprises to fill that gap that you, I think, so eloquently described, that valley of death that exists for so many companies out there. If you could just give us a little bit of an overview from your experience.
Sure. So GE has been a founding member of the NAMI, the National Institute for Additive Manufacturing in Youngstown, Ohio. The great thing about this institute is I think we have close to 100 companies participating in this program. And so this allows us to work closely with the suppliers. We can understand better what their capability is. We can help them understand what capability we are looking for when we're looking for a supplier. It allows us to grow our own capability. Additive manufacturing for production is a fairly new field, so it will allow us to have access to people who are being trained in additive manufacturing, as well as our suppliers who have access to people who are coming out of school or who have been employees at that center. And typically the employees at these centers, they cycle through the center, they stay for 2 years, and then they move on to go work in industry typically, or in academia. And so creating that kind of environment where people can get together and say, here, this is as a nation where we want to go in terms of additive manufacturing. We all agree that this is pre-competitive, and here's where we can move the needle from it being an, very new technology and unestablished technology, a technology where we don't understand material properties, where we don't understand how to produce this at a lower cost and so forth, to a level where it becomes competitive and where we get a supply base and, in fact, establish a supply base in additive manufacturing. It's a very new field, and so I think this was really an ideal first CMI.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Davis, if I could, and I realize time is brief, but you mentioned a little bit before some of the unique challenges, I think, in your comments about the speaker, about that comes to grips with as you're trying to develop new products without being burdened by high costs and the high risk associated with that type of innovation and the costs associated with it. Can you discuss a little bit on how the semiconductor industry is impacted by these issues and some of the ways that hopefully a model like this will address it, even though I'm 10 seconds over time?
Thank you for your leadership on this bill, Congressman, and thank you for the question. I think the essential thing facing manufacturers such as those in our association is how you maintain a pace of innovation. And innovation isn't something you fund once, buy, and then you've got it. It is an ongoing process that needs to be sustained within this country. By way of example, when I think about innovative products, things that have changed our economy and our competitiveness, you look at this thing, which I believe probably every person in this room has one of in their pockets. Every single element of this smartphone that makes it smart is a product of industry collaboration and public-private partnerships. Touchscreen displays, global positioning system, the internet, wireless connectivity, microchips, all those things were products of public-private partnership. So the vision and leadership that this country can take through acts such as this lay a foundation for future prosperity in this country and innovation. And I'm not sure if that answered your question specifically, but
Beautifully, sir. Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for your generosity. I'm sorry to cut it short. Thank you very much.